Quote number 70. He looks unhinged. No. That's just all Taylor's. Fox and Zoth, Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah. I was
all
thinking
Taylors look unhinged.
I was thinking like Taylor's the name, and I was so confused. I'm like, when did I say that? And then I remembered that the Taylor.
Yeah, no, all people named Taylor. It's a certified fact.
That's right.
Yeah.
No one can
So we're
disprove
doing
it.
something a little different tonight.
Are we?
We are doing some emergent storytelling,
Whoa.
which is to say that we're playing a session that is largely player-driven. There's not a lot of prep work on my part, so like if you want your scenes to be good, you have to make them good.
Oh, dang
And
it.
I will just be cutting back and forth between you to sort of keep the pace of the narrative moving here. But I do have some musical numbers prepared and some other things to help add to the scenes based on the stories I think each of your characters are hoping to tell. And I think it's going to be a good time. Before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves and stuff. I'm not going to start with a hook in this episode. I think we're just going to do the intro, like we'll introduce you guys and then we'll just start playing. I think that's going to be the best way to throw the ball up, nice, easy set so that you guys can spike it from a storytelling perspective. So with that in mind, let's meet our characters for the night.
Yo, what's up? My name's Matt with 2 T's. I play Fox with 1 X, who's a rogue changeling. That's right, shapeshifter. I'm shifting my shapes and shaping my shifts, and I'm shooting fire, and shooting.
Yo, what's up? I'm Wash with the Double, here to play Jebediah Peppermint, the molefolk gun wizard. Spitting fire and fire to fire these spit, yo. I'm old, I can't do that very well.
I mean, to be fair, you're the one who started doing it. Anyway, what's up, guys? I'm Jacob, spelled with 1 J, 1 A, 1 C, 1 O, and 1 B. I
was
play
gonna do that.
Aullen, the what is he? He's an Azamar barbarian artificer. Yeah, I don't know. That's the end of my bit.
Hello, I'm Trevor. Jake stole the bit I was gonna do, so I am ruining the bit out of spite. I play Zothka Kebub, the orc cleric of the group, and on to you, Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm the Wing Badger Game Master, and I am facilitating tonight's chaos. So that's what's really happening here. Now, without further ado, let's get into tonight's Dungeons and Dragons session. And to do that, I need to change some scenes. I need to come over here. We're going to set the tone. We're going to get some nice activity happening here. We'll get some nice nature. And we're going to get a little bit of music going on. A little bit of music playing, maybe. Maybe just a little bit of this. A little bit of music. It is a beautiful day. There's a blue sky overhead. Birds are chirping. The sun has just come over the horizon, just enough that it's no longer sunrise. There are a handful of those perfect, fluffy white clouds that you see in stories. And underneath all of this, Aullen Wadrir is making the rounds. He's heading from guest room to guest room, collecting a couple of things he needs to drop off with Scale and Sons. He's got to get some letters from Zothkug that are addressed to Yeah. He's got to pick up some signed paperwork from Fox, who obviously took the longest when it came to getting all of the 4 guys' paperwork together. And he's going to check in with Jeb in case he's got anything to take to the market. What order are you going in, Aullen?
Aullen will go to Zoth first because he knows that Zoth has his stuff together that he needs to get
Sure thing.
going, get to Scale and Sons. So he'll stop by Zoth's room. He'll knock twice and kind of hang out for a second to see if Zoth responds.
Zoth comes to the door, and in the background, you see one of the servants holding some grapes on a vine. Hey man, what's up?
I'm just here to grab your stuff for Yeah. I'm gonna stop by Scale and Sons on my way out to the market.
Oh, yes. Let me go grab it from my locker. Do you want some grapes?
Sure. Alan will pluck a grape politely from the grape thing.
He grabs the letters and hands them to Alan.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
What do you have planned today, Zoth?
Well, I'm gonna go talk to the doctor's daughters, and after that, I don't know. You?
I think I'm gonna go to the market and then work on some stuff in my room. But I was thinking it might be nice to, I don't know, get together at the end of the day, regroup, talk about what we want to do next.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
We'll find a spot, I'm sure.
What about a spa?
That sounds surprisingly relaxing.
You all seem like you could use one.
I don't know if I've ever been to a spa, actually.
Oh man, they're great.
Well, I think it might be worth a try. I'll let the others know.
Sounds good, man.
And so Alan leaves Zothkug to his grapes on vines held by servants and heads down the hall. Where are we going next, Alan?
We'll go to Fox next because he knows we need to get stuff from Fox as well.
And a loud doot 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 on the door.
Come in.
Alan will crack the door open and peek in.
I'm almost done, Alan. Just
How many have you signed?
All? It was like 5, right?
You have about 7 more to go. Just here, and then Alan will go over and like start like picking up the papers and like sorting through. Like, okay, you need to sign here too. Like pointing out specific spots. Like,
all right. All right. This is the last one. Just here. Just take this, and I hope to God I address this correctly.
I think actually Jeb already addressed it, so I think you're okay. And then Alan will.
Fox has just written an address next to Jeb's address.
And then Alan will take the envelope and.
Well, I guess that works then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
What I was wondering, at the end of the day, I know it sounds like, at least talking to Zoth, that we all kind of have different things we wanted to get done today, but Zoth suggested us meeting up at the spa later. I had never been to a spa personally, but it actually sounds a bit refreshing compared to what we've been up to recently.
You know what? For once, Zoth has a good idea that I agreed to.
That is surprising that you agreed to it. I would contest the good idea sentiment, but
well, no, it's like to get, like it was a good idea, but then I left it hanging, as a joke. But in reality, it was a good idea.
I understand the structure. Yes. Anyway. Okay. Cool. I'll talk to Jeb about that as well.
Are we going like sundown? Like what time
yeah,
are you thinking?
Yeah. I would say meet there at sundown. Sounds perfect.
Okay. I'll be ready.
Great.
I'll be ready.
Alan will take the letter and go towards Jeb's quarters next.
I believe that's the Chartreuse Stair.
The Chartreuse Stair,
Jeb's in.
yes.
Yeah.
2 knocks.
As you knock on it, his door drifts open just a little bit.
Alan's gonna like carefully peek in. That may not be a good sign considering the history of theft in that room. He's gonna peek in slowly. What does he see?
Jeb's sitting at a desk, and he kind of like hears the creak of the door, and there was some sort of light in front of him, and it goes out. There's a piece of paper and a quill sitting on the ground in front of him, or sitting on the desk in front of him. Oh, hey, Alan. What's going on?
I'm heading towards Scale & Sons to drop off our paperwork and Zoth's letters to I was just wondering if you needed anything dropped off on the way or at Scale & Sons, or I'm also going to the market afterwards if you need anything from there.
No, I was, no. No, thanks. Appreciate you asking. No, I don't have anything to send off.
Okay, of course. something else that Zoth and surprisingly Fox actually agreed to is Zoth suggested maybe we regroup at the spa later tonight and kind of take some time to relax, but also talk about what we want our next steps to be.
Oh, okay.
What are your thoughts? We thought about meeting there at sundown.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Alan kind of is like awkwardly standing in the doorway and kind of is like, have a good day, and closes the door behind him.
And with a soft click, the chartreuse stair door latches, and Aullen heads for the exit. A little bit ahead of Aullen in leaving is Zothkug, who got himself ready after handing off his letters and is now headed towards the doctor's house. He's walking down the street. It's, as I said, very pleasant outside. You can hear the birds chirping. You can see, it's the kind of day where even though technically people are probably supposed to be in school, all the teachers are like, let's do class outside. So there are like little groups of dwarven kids who are sitting under trees and reading or talking about different things. And as you walk into the legal district where the king's cousin lives, you're able to kind of catch, even the pace here in what is normally kind of the cutthroat busy district, the place where all the real work gets done, is a little bit slowed. People are, strolling happily, taking the time to take in the day. And you eventually wend your way through the twisted, narrow streets of the legal district and find yourself outside the house of the king's cousin. And there he is sitting outside at one of his tables. He's actually attending to one of his patients, someone from off the street, who could otherwise not afford, services or care or whatever, and he's just finishing up with them, and he catches sight of you, and his face breaks into a big smile, and he waves. Hey, did you get your things back?
Yes, we did, actually. That was very helpful. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to have helped. What can I do for you today? How's it going?
It's going great, actually. I came to see if I could help your daughter in any way. I've prepared the spells that I think could help, potentially.
Were you able to get a writ of permission from the king?
Yes, we were.
Fascinating. Let's try. And he rushes over to the door and says, honey, get our daughter. And, they get a room ready and she's seated all comfortably.
So I'll do a medicine check to see if what would have the better chance. I think it'll be remove curse, but I have remove curse and lesser restoration.
Okay.
18.
You are able to identify the curse that she is afflicted with. You've seen curses like this before, and it turns out that somewhere in her family's history, someone was cursed, and that's why it's hereditary. And so this is a curse that's kind of passed down through the generations, and it's a pretty substantial curse. Like the curses that can be inherited are a little bit more complex than just your average, like, oh, someone has cast a pall upon you. And so it's going to take several steps to remove it.
Okay.
But the first step, at least, is pretty simple, which is to do what's called drawing the curse out into the open. Basically, you're trying to concentrate the energy of the curse close to her skin so that you can then try and siphon it out of her body. And that you can do with an Arcana check. And you have advantage on this because you've already prepared remove curse.
Yay. Yeah, so, lay down. Do you know of any curses that were cast on your relatives or family members maybe long ago?
No, I don't. Are you saying this came from a previous generation?
Yes, potentially. Unless she attuned to a cursed item, which I highly doubt.
Nobody's really attuned to anything for a few years, with the darkening and stuff. It's incredible that magic works here at all. It's really just a sign of Gamteu's favor on the king, I think.
It is great that magic works here. Yes, so there's some sort of curse that has been passed down through your family, and it's because it's lingered so long, it's gonna take a little bit more steps to remove, but I am confident that I can do it. It is a 13 and a 22.
Excellent. So yeah, that 22 is more than enough. So basically, to draw the cursed energy to the surface, you have to basically do the first half of the incantation. Like you're basically creating a little bit more negative energy to bring the negative energy that's in her body to the fore. So you do that, and you begin to see almost like rippling tattoos. Something swirls down her arms and across her legs, and sort of turns into these weird circular glyphs that focus on her wrists. They kind of it's almost like they come into clarity. Like they start out blurry and blobby, and they sort of shapeshift into something more solidified that you can now use as a target for remove curse. And as you do this, the doctor and his wife are kind of like watching very closely, and the doctor's even taking little notes, on a little tablet. As this is going on the other side of town, headed towards the northern market, is Fox. Fox, you are headed down the main breezeway, the main thoroughfare, and you can hear the sounds of a busy, bustling market, the artisans to the south, and the more traditional merchant stores and stalls to the north. Where are you going? What are you looking for in particular?
Honestly, Fox is taking the moment to just be like, I have nothing to do today, and is just smelling the air and following this scent that's kind of just lingering in there, this almost like a baked good, but it has that savory tinge to it, and he can't just forget about it. So he's starting to hunt down this scent.
All right. So that's going to take you to the north then. That's definitely where the bakers and things will be. So you head north and into the more general goods stores areas and things like that. You come across a couple different people who are just, pleasantly haggling, all good-natured, but, oh, that's not worth 2 wingles. You're going to give me that for a wing, right? Come on. And then back and forth. You're walking past, and it's almost enjoyable just to be in a place where you're not having to constantly look for targets or predators. I'm not watching out for pickpockets. I'm not trying to pickpocket anybody. I'm just strolling. Every now and then someone recognizes your attire as being a guest of the king's, and they give you just a deferential head nod and, go about their business. You see all kinds of different architecture. As we've said, Udril is an architectural masterpiece. And so walking around, you can see all kinds of different creative ideas, different, vibes, different approaches to architecture. And eventually you find yourself outside Mama Selena's Baked Goods. And there is a painting of a croissant roll on the sign outside, and a line that wraps around the block. And the smell is definitely coming from this particular vendor.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to walk up to the front of the line, outside, but front-ish, and be like, excuse me, what does this store sell? I'm new to town, and
oh man, you've gotta try it here. The stuff here is incredible. They've got stuff so good it'll feel like you're eating a boon when you eat it. It's so delicious.
Okay.
They've got so Mama Selena's the recipe master here, right? But she's got a team, right? She's got a team of other people who are baking so that she can handle the sales and making sure everybody gets stuff taken care of. So there's 4 chefs back in there. Each one of them has their own oven to work with. And what they're making, there's a whole mix of different goods. Here's a menu, and he hands you the paper menu that he's been holding. But if it were up to me, and you see the menu is 3 pages of delicious baked goods, but if it were up to me, my suggestion would be to try the sweet rolls. They are just they've got glaze on them with some pecans on the outside. They are so good.
Do you secretly work here?
No, I just come here every day, and you the camera zooms out, and the man is rotund. I love Mama Selena's Baked Goods.
I can tell by your enthusiasm.
He gives you a big smile, and the sunlight glints off of it.
Oh, all right. I guess I'll have to give it a try. How long is the wait usually?
Oh, not too long. This line should only be about a half hour.
Well, if it says as good as you say it is,
come on, it's a beautiful day. What else you gonna do today?
You're right. I'll see you inside, sir.
I'll see you inside. And just as you turn away, his turn finally comes, and he can get in through the door and go in to begin placing his order and such. You head to the back of the line. As this is happening, we cut over to Jebediah Peppermint. Jeb, you are in your room. What do you want to do?
Jeb has packed all of his stuff into his bag, into his pack, including his coat, and his trousers and his hat and everything. Everything's all packed up in his bag, and he's still wearing that the toga robe thing that was made for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he sets it off in the corner and leaves. He's gonna find a park.
Oh yeah, so like back to the field district, like where the labyrinths and the river and stuff is.
Yeah.
So Jeb kind of heads in that direction, and you find like some sloping hills. There's a nice little path leading down there, and there are several benches around. So you could be sitting under the tree, you could sit by the river, you could go through one of the labyrinths and sit near the center. What kind of location is Jeb looking for?
As he's walking and just kind of like seeing the people out and about, families kind of making their way to and from places, he finds himself at a playground and walks up to the bench and goes, in his mind, he goes, ugh, dwarves. And he goes over and sits on a piece of grass, like a little piece of the hill nearby, and just kind of people watches for a little bit.
And there's a lot of people to watch on a nice day like this. School is only half a day in Udril, so as the day winds on, the students who are getting out will bring rowdier games to the playground. But right now, it's mostly like couples with new children are at the playground, like pushing them in swings. You can see a couple of people just going for a stroll. It's a pretty wide park. It's not like just the play area or whatever. It's got some nice mulched areas and some different things. There are some people who are playing with their pets. You can see what looks like maybe a ranger out just kind of walking his dog and kind of, playing fetch with him and stuff like that. You can see a couple of young girls going for a swim in the river. It's just, general playtime under a blue sky. The birds chirping overhead, and Jeb is just kind of able to sit there with his thoughts and watch everything that's going on.
Yeah, and as he's sitting here under this tree, a little bit of distance, kind of on looking from afar, he kind of stands up and dusts himself off and walks down to one of the swings and finds a youngster who doesn't have anybody to push him, and just is like, "Hey there, pup, you need a push?"
That'd be great, mister.
And he takes a little bit of time and pushes him on the swing, and yeah.
This is great, mister. Mom never lets me swing this high. He's getting some good air.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe we could try to go all the way around. What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. That's pretty high up there. Let's do it.
I'm going to try and push him. Not obviously, Jeb cannot push him all the way around, but he wants to make this boy feels like he's going all the way around. You want me to make a strength check?
Sure. If you nat 20 this, he is going all the way around.
As a 2.
You forgot the 0 there, Wash.
Well, 0 is my modifier, so it's a 2.
You go for it, but right as you're about to push him, he shifts in the seat like he's getting ready for it, and the shift ruins all the momentum, and so it's just it's like a little wimpy push. And the kid's like, "That's not gonna get me around the swing set." He turns around and he goes, "You don't push very well, mister."
I would like to cast a spell.
Teaching this kid a lesson already.
All right, listen here, you little.
I'll show you who's a good pusher.
So, yeah. Show you, you little twerp. No, and he's like, "Oh no, we were just winding up. We're just winding up. Are you ready?"
The kid is very skeptical. He goes, "I guess so."
He places his one hand on the rod, and just points his other hand at the back of this kid on the swing and says, "Skaboosh!" And I'm going to cast Gust. Just a cantrip, so it's got a little bit of oomph behind it.
Yeah, this rush of wind swirls up and brings some leaves and stuff with it, and at first it just seems like it's just whipping his shirt, and then all of a sudden it kind of coalesces behind him, and the kid whoa, and shoof, kind of shoots up to 90 degrees out from the swing set, and then comes plummeting back down towards you. Make a dexterity save.
That is a 12, solid 12.
All right. Yeah, you're able to slow him down, so he's not going to die when it
Yeah.
goes the other way.
Yeah.
He goes, "Whoa, that was amazing!" And then he hops off the swing and runs over to where his parent is probably playing with another one of their children. He goes, "Look, did you see how high I was on the swing?" And they're all talking over there about that now. We cut from this scene back to the line in the market where Fox is standing in line. It's been 10, 20 minutes, something like that. And, the line is moving. You're about halfway to the door. And the smell is entrancing, tantalizing. You don't see anybody, but you hear from maybe around a corner. You go, "That's lame." And someone else going, "Stop laughing at me. It's going to be awesome, okay? It's okay." And they're like, "That's dumb."
I'm gonna look to the person behind me. Excuse me, can you just hold my spot in line for just a couple minutes?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Mhm.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna casually saunter over to the corner I heard this and just kind of poke my head around.
You look around the corner and you can see 3 teenagers who have cornered a preteen who are laughing at him and pushing him around a little bit and "This kid's so dumb," and they shove him. And the kid's like, "I'm not dumb. I'm gonna be one when I grow up, okay?" And they're like, "You can't. No, that's stupid. He wants to be a girl. He's gonna be a mermaid." He goes, "There are boy merfolk. I could be a boy merfolk. They're so cool." And there's just this back and forth happening at the end of the street.
All right, I'm just gonna walk up and I'm just gonna straight up snatch. Can I just snatch whatever items they have tied to their belt, their purse, their favorite stick? I don't care. I'm snatching.
Yeah, they're kids. It's oh, I got a couple cool rocks in my pocket and whatever. So yeah, you take what? Yeah.
So
you just start taking stuff.
I'm just gonna roll sleight of hand to just take a little bit of everything from each one.
Okay.
No.
It's either a 1 or a 20.
Did you get a nat 1?
It's one or the other. The suspense is killing us.
So guys, this is the best roll I've ever seen in my life.
We still
It's
don't
a
know.
1.
It's definitely a 1 now.
It's a 1.
Well, you gotta ruin it if you just gotta say what it is. It's a nat 1.
You go to pickpocket them as you've pickpocketed so many people, but they're shorter than you expect because they're young, and so you wind up just putting a hand comfortingly on the one kid's shoulder, and he turns around and goes, "Who are you?"
Whoa, calm down there, mister. I just heard all the commotion, and I was just thought there might be a fight brewing. Is that true here?
No, weren't doing nothing.
Oh well. Let me hear it from the other side here.
Just well, actually, we gotta go, and the 3 kids just kind of walk.
I'm gonna
off.
hold with the one I have my head on. I'm just gonna iron grip his
Hold
shoulder.
his shoulder. I was okay.
Yeah, no, I think we can talk this one out. So,
Oh, it's nothing. The younger kid is saying it's nothing. They just playing,
so well,
You know how people be playing.
I know a few games myself. You said something about being a mermaid. Is that it?
Well, technically, I think I would be a merman, but I want to be a merfolk. I think it's so cool.
Oh, sure.
There's the stories of that warband of merfolk right now who are stopping the Hishalan army from crossing the sea. I think that's so cool. I want to be just like them.
Funny enough, I actually know a mermaid. And I'll have you know, she is kicking butt. Last time I saw her, she saved my life.
Ha! The younger kid just points at the older kid. Ha! I told you they were cool. Older kid goes, What do you mean, kicking butt? What does that mean?
Well,
Or, aren't they just fish?
I'm gonna sit down, right, and on a bench or box, and just be like, well, it's actually this crazy story. You see, I'm actually a part of a group of friends and I who travel, and we were actually unraveling this secret mystery, this entire conspiracy that was going straight down into the depths of the earth and up into the highest places of government. And as we were trying to work out what was going on, we were sneaking through the warehouse of the enemy when all of a sudden we were ambushed. And we were goners. Like, they were gonna get us, if you get what I'm saying.
What? No way.
Yeah, no, it was wicked. And we tried our best. We fought them off. We knocked a few out, you know, and we're swinging left and right, but we were stuck. We were surrounded. We were in the belly of the monster, per se, you know, and it was just us four guys adventuring. And all we had was our vibes. It just wasn't enough. But at the last second, I will say, a merfolk came right out of the ceiling and just immediately wiped the floor with the people surrounding us. And with her help, we were able to take down the whole operation and gun it out there before they could even know what happened. And you know, she didn't do it alone. And she lost a lot of friends along the way. I'm just glad she had time to save me and remember me, because I actually knew her when we were kids. And
Are you not friends now?
well, we just don't have the time to see each other, you know? Funny enough, when you're around kicking butt, kind of takes up your life, you know? You don't have time.
So you don't have any friends?
Well, I have my... Yeah, I have friends. I have friends.
But why don't, if you have friends, why aren't you friends with this merfolk anymore?
Friends work differently when you're older. You know, sometimes the friends are the ones you get to see every day, and sometimes the friends are the ones you used to be able to see every day and you just can't anymore. But when you meet each other again, you pick it right back up, including the arguments. So, usually you don't want to lead
arguments?
off on a... Yeah, well, you know, if you...
The teenager leans down to the preteen and goes, "They got in a fight. He screwed it up. He screwed it up."
Whoa. I think you're jumping to some... you know...
We jump over to Zovka, who is standing over the doctor's daughter. Her curse has sort of coalesced into these glyphs on her wrists, and you are ready to now use Remove Curse.
I will use it. So, Zothkug holds his hands together and says a prayer to Kelnor. Kelnor, remove this evil from this girl so that she may enjoy life as you intended. And then he takes his hands, places them on the curse marks, closes his eyes, and just draws their energy away from her.
And as the energy begins siphoning off of her, it starts to almost like take shape in the air, like a little mirage shimmering over her wrists as you pull the energy up. And the shape, it doesn't physically do this, but internally, Zothkug, you can feel this war that has started mentally between like the good energy that you have and the evil energy that the curse has. And you actually find yourself in this strange kind of swirling void area. It's just you, and then on the other side of you, the curse has materialized as a creature of some kind, and it rears up and sharpens claws, and it like rushes towards you like it's going to attack you.
I will stand my ground and be ready to cast a spell.
Okay. It continues like covering the ground towards you, getting closer and closer. What spell are you planning to cast?
Guiding bolt.
Guiding bolt. And your guiding bolt shears right through the center of it, and it dissipates into this sort of colored mist, and you blink and you're back in the present tense in the physical world. And in front of you, the last remnants of the sigils are disappearing from the daughter's wrists, and she looks over at you, eyes wide, and she goes, Can I stand?
Go ahead and try. Your legs still, they haven't really been used, so they're still going to be pretty weak. But I will help you up, and I'll.
You
just
take one
her.
side, and her father takes the other side, and they, help her get to her feet. And she stands up, and then you very slowly let go. Your hand's right there to catch her in case she falls, and she stands for the first time ever. She's standing in this guy's house, and the doctor looks over at you and goes, Thank you. How can we ever repay you?
Oh, not necessary. You've already paid us in full.
Wow, this is amazing. And I'm going to have to stop by the temple to Kelnor in the Holy District. And he, turns around and well, what should we do? You can stand. And, and they're like, let's go stand. Let's stand upstairs. And they quick rush up the stairs. They're helping carry her up the stairs. And then she's like, I'm looking out a window. And, that kind of thing as they're running around.
As they're doing that, I will pull all of them aside and just be like, now, these are some exercises you can do in order to help facilitate a faster recovery time with your legs. It's going to be a little bit painful starting out, but as they grow stronger and become accustomed to standing and walking again, it'll ease the pain, and eventually it'll feel normal for I guess for people who know walking. But for you, it'll be this new journey of experience.
They kind of smile, and everyone's taking notes on your instructions again. The doctor's a very meticulous guy, so he's taking notes on the different the correct positions and the muscle groups each one affects and stuff like that. And we cut from Zothkug over to Aullen. Aullen, you are heading to the Southern Market District where the artisans and the specialists are, and one of those specialists is Scale and Sons. Scale, or one of Scale's sons really, has opened up a little shop here. And you walk into the shop. It's a modest building, but there behind the counter, like in every Scale and Sons, there is a sort of a lean, red-haired halfling who's got, he looks a little rugged. He looks like he travels a lot, and he's got a bunch of open scroll cases of different sizes on the counter in front of him. And there's a little cat curled up in the corner, just napping softly in the bright light of the day. He says, hello. What can I do for you?
Yes, I am just here to drop off these letters, and Alan will set out the letters to the city. I assume it's to the city or to the holdings or whatever, for the establishment of the Four Guys branch, and then also the letters to
All right, some letters for Gaim and some letters for the royal residence. Excellent. We can take care of these for you. That'll just be 2 standard Wingle digits, please.
Alan will hand those over. I assume that he's been given some from the stash to do that with. Yeah.
So he takes your 2 standard Wingle digits and he starts packing them up in scroll cases, and he goes, "You're one of those guests of the king, aren't you?"
Yes. I assume, I guess my attire must have made that obvious. Alan kind of looks down, noticing that he's not wearing his normal, not much of attire.
Yeah. Crazy stuff going on the past couple days, huh?
Yes, it was quite eventful, and quite illuminating as to how the city works. It's quite interesting, quite exciting, I will say.
What happened in that labyrinth? They won't tell us anything. They just closed it off and said it needs some growing work.
Well, if that's the official story, I don't necessarily feel at liberty to expulge more. However, it was all I can really say is you may have heard. I assume you witnessed or at least have heard of the public execution of Alex Greenvale.
Oh yeah, weird stuff. Seeing an execution.
Quite. She was orchestrating some plans that did not have the king or this clan's interests, best interests at heart, and the labyrinth happened to be a place where those plans tried to come to fruition. But I will say the labyrinth does indeed need more growing work after that.
Well, I'm glad we had some heroes like you and your friends around to take care of it. And as he says that, you get this mental flash, and you find yourself in the ALF tower, and you're sitting there in the middle of a class, one of your lectures, and one of the professors is explaining like the difference, children, between being just an everybody or being a hero is in your craft. It's in becoming a master of something so you can use your gifts to help others instead of yourself. And then whoosh, you're like kind of back in the room with yourself.
Alan's gonna kind of shake his head a little bit and say, I appreciate that, but there are many heroes besides us that are doing a lot right now. And
all the same, thanks for what you did. And he holds out a gloved hand for you to shake.
Alan will shake it, but his brain isn't really quite there. His thoughts are somewhere else, and he's gonna shake the hand and kind of walk out, and he'll kind of like take in the air again and kind of focus back in as to where he's at and what he was trying to remember what he was about to do, and then he's gonna head towards any like tent or area that seems like it's gonna be selling like kind of like tinker toy type parts, like metal parts, like but small pieces that can be kind of attached together, like small tinkery type doodads.
Yeah. So you're in the Southern Market District, which is where most of the like specialty crafts people are. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty easy to find, a mishmash of different objects and devices and things. And so you actually find an artificer's little stall or tent or whatever. And you arrive there, and he's just finishing up a conversation with someone, and you can see that his pinky and ring finger on his right hand are actually like steel construction that he's made. They're like prosthetics that he's built. And he's shaking hands with someone, and, they're laughing happily together. And he turns and catches your eye and goes, hello there. The name's Steve McTavish. What can I do for you? And he walks over and with a clunk, sets his metal hand and his normal hand on the desk in front of you.
Hello. I was wondering if you happen to have a box of just miscellaneous parts to look through. I'm trying to create something, and he kind of like uses his hands to kind of reference like something small, like a figure.
Yes, I think we've got some
something
materials,
but something mechanical that I can wind up essentially.
Yeah. You want something that's already built? You want a figure, or you want?
No, I'm building.
You want to make it?
I'm building. I was wondering if you had some small miscellaneous parts I could look through.
I thought I recognized a fellow wrenchy. Let me see what I can find. And he turns around and starts, he kind of gets down on his knees, and he's looking through boxes underneath one of his tables, and he finally pulls one out, and he goes, this one should be right. And he sets it down with a thunk, and there's a lot of tinkling noises inside, and on the side it just says doodads and stuff. And he like opens it up for you, and it's just like a bunch of miscellaneous parts, and he goes, take whatever you need, and at the end we'll just call it 3 Wingles. How's that?
That sounds perfect. And Alan will even just hand over the 3 Wingles right away, and from there he's going to sort through the parts, kind of like pick through them, sort of like, I don't know if you guys have had this experience as a kid, but like, when you have like a big box of Legos and you're trying to find the right stuff for the thing you have in mind. That's kind of what Alan's doing. He's digging through like, oh yep, and he's wearing his like royal guest robes, but he has his tool belt over top the waist, and so he's able to like put things in his tool belt and store them and stuff. And he'll do that for a few, like, several is probably an exaggeration. He'll do that for like 10 or 15 minutes though, and kind of just make sure he gets through the entire little inventory of the box, and he has everything he thinks he needs, and then he's gonna head back to his quarters.
Sounds great. So Aullen gets what he needs, and he heads out. Steve has already gone back to his work. He's over there, screwing something in with a ratchet, and you hear some clanking noises and whatever. We cut back across town to where Jebediah Peppermint is over by the playground area. He's just finished pushing this kid on the swings, and we rejoin him.
Has the new moon risen yet?
Yes.
Okay. As Jeb kind of collects himself, he's going to head to the castle, and it's about time for him to meet with the king and give him the answer to his question.
as you are walking towards the castle, again, just winding your way up the hill, you know, it's a really nice day outside. It's pleasantly warm. Families are playing and whatnot. You see almost like it's happening in slow motion in front of you. You see one of the horses, you know, like the couriers who are riding on a horse, kind of rushing from one side. And on the other side, you see a couple of kids who are playing, running towards the same hill, and they're on like a collision course for each other.
Jeb immediately runs as fast as he can, and he's going to use Fog Step
Okay.
to, bam, poof, just teleport directly to the kids, arms around them, and pull them backwards.
Okay. You get there just in the nick of time, and you are able to basically just flatten these kids to the ground, and the horse passes. I mean, like, you can feel the wind of its hooves as it runs past you. It, like, fluffs up your hat, like, knocks it off your head a little bit.
No hat today.
Oh, that's right. Well, it would have.
If you had a hat.
Yeah. And a bearded dwarf runs up to you and goes, "Oh my goodness, thank you so much. I don't even know what to say. Wow, are you kids okay?" And he like sits down and he's like tending to his kids, and you can see that he's got, you know, a very young son and then maybe an 8 or a 9-year-old daughter. And the daughter is like, you know, she's a little bit more shocked than the son is. She's just like, "I don't know what's going on." You know, he's like he's toddling around. And the daughter's a little bit more like, "Whoa, that was kind of scary," and like takes a couple deep breaths and says, "Yeah, I think I'm okay. Thank you, mister." And, you know, thanks you.
Jeb taps the side of his nose kind of nonchalantly and says, "Don't worry, I'm a friend of the king. You two be careful. Like, there's a lot of horses and carriages and stuff going up and down this road. I can't always be here for you. So, you know, y'all make sure to look both ways, look left, look right, before you go running out there. Okay? And listen to your dad. He's a good man."
They like nod and smile and stuff, and the dad's like grinning a little bit to himself. And you go about your way heading up to the castle. We cut back over to Fox, who is sitting with a group of teenagers who are like, "But why aren't you still talking to like your merfolk friend?"
I guess, listen, when you're busy going on adventures and kicking butt, you know, sometimes you don't have time to go over to your friend's house and play games or go outside and have fun. You got stuff to do, and it sucks a lot. But when you don't have those responsibilities, you can get up to all sorts of shenanigans. You know, me and this friend of mine back in the day, we used to do stuff back when we were about your age that
Like what?
no, you guys aren't ready for it. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
The two kids in your captive audience look at each other. Some silent understanding passes between them. They look back at you, and the younger one goes, "We can handle it."
Oh, well, all right. Well, you see, back in the day, me and her, we used to roll heists, you know? Like
stealing stuff?
Oh, see, stealing stuff, that sounds, you know, evil and bad. No, we did heists, which are an art and are awesome. See, we didn't just steal stuff. We did it with pizzazz and with a beauty to it. Oh, you should have seen it. The first heist we ever pulled, oh, it was a candy store, right? And man, there was these really sour candies. They were really good, right? But they were so sour, we were only allowed one per person. And they wouldn't give us any more each day. So, me and her, we put our heads together and we're like, all right, we can figure this out. See, little thing about me is I can do this little trick, and as I wave my hand, I'm gonna make it change skin tone and color and shapes as I pass it by their faces.
A beat of silence, and then the older one goes, "Cool."
And so, right? All I had to do was start collecting the candy, right? But we only had 5 minutes before our respective parents started asking for where we were. So here I am going in and out, right? And I'm gonna switch faces every time I talk about I went in,
Okay.
and I went in, grabbed one, went out, and then switch face again. And I went in, grabbed one, went out, and I was going quick. And adults, they're pretty smart, and I'm one of them now. And let me tell you, we're pretty smart people. And he started to catch on. He knew something wasn't right. He couldn't place it because you can't say like, hey, 20 kids looking all different is actually one kid. That's a little crazy sounding. But he knew something wasn't right. And next thing you know, he's like, wait a minute. I recognize those eyes. You've been in here before. In fact, it's you, Fox, isn't it? And at that moment, I knew I was got. So you know what I did?
What'd you do?
I went ahead, grabbed a whole bag of them right off the counter, right in front of him. And I just dove right through the open window. And I landed right in a pool of water, right? Because we were in a canal city. And I landed right then, and guess who was there? My merfolk friend. And she gunned it down through the canal. We were gone before we even had a chance to look outside. Man, we were having upset stomachs for weeks on that candy.
That's a good score.
Oh yeah, we got a lot better, and we made bigger scores, but
Yeah, we're pretty street here too, the older one says, and he leans back against the wall. I kicked some mud onto Sheila Sandwagon's shoes the other day. She had no idea it was me. Pretty cool too,
as long as they deserve. In my opinion, that candy store owner had it coming. He was always mean to us kids, but I'd like to try to direct it. Don't be asking for trouble. All right.
All right.
If the Sheila deserved it. Good on you.
At that moment, you hear a voice from the front of the line go, "Hey, Mr. Guy, your spot. If you want to go in, you're at the front of the line."
Coming. All right. Now you remember now, merfolk are bad, and let me tell you, don't ever cross one. And I'm just gonna get up and go in a hurry, like, oh, sorry, thanks. Just
as you round the corner, you distinctly hear one of them whisper, "I think there's a candy shop around the corner from there." We cut back across to Aullen, who's heading back
Did I
towards
teach them the right thing?
No. When you have to ask yourself, what was the moral of that story? Did I do that right? We cut back to Aullen, who's got his bag of tinkerable materials, and he's headed back to the guest rooms at the castle.
Yep.
You arrive at the door, and one of the gate crew nods deferentially to you and escorts you inside, and you head back to your rooms.
Yeah, he on his way back, he starts humming this kind of it's kind of low pitched, but it's kind of it still is kind of a cheerful tune. It's just something that he's humming to himself as he's heading back.
Okay.
But he gets up to his room, and he opens the door and closes it behind him, and in his room he goes over to the desk, and he kind of he starts taking out he has his tool belt on. He starts taking out the pieces that he got from the tool belt, putting them on the desk in kind of a organized fashion, trying to kind of divide up the parts between okay, you can kind of tell he's kind of all right, this is for this part, this is for this part. He kind of starts separating them out on the table. And as he sits down in the chair again, he's again put back in his mind into that classroom. In the ALF tower, and he is sitting there in that class, and he looks to his right, kind of he's taking in the lesson, but he kind of has that moment where you kind of look to one of your classmates as kind of you kind of share that eye look, kind of maybe the professor said something just a little bit I don't know if that's true, something like that. He kind of looks over and he sees Makar, same age as him in this situation. They're both still kids. And they just kind of smile at each other and share oh, we're going to be talking about this later kind of look. And Aullen is kind of put back in his chair again in his room. and he starts humming again that same tune as he starts kind of taking out his artificer's tools and starts trying to put together these pieces. And as he hums the tune, he kind of thinks back on another time where instead of playing hide and go seek in the library with Makar, they are in the library reading together, or supposed to be reading. They're supposed to be studying. And there's a moment where Aullen is reading, but he looks up and Makar like starts like singing the same tune, but kind of loudly, like too loud for that you should be in a library. Aullen kind of like looks at him like with like a what are you doing kind of face, like you're not supposed to be doing that. And then Makar kind of like stops and kind of like looks at Aullen like in like a, are you gonna do it? Like are you gonna do it? And then Aullen like kind of picks up his voice and starts singing a little bit louder than Makar. And then of course someone much older than them peeks around the corner.
You kids being so loud in the library. This is a place for studying, boys. Now, if you can't keep your noses in your books and your songs in your hearts, I'm gonna send you right back to your rooms. Is that understood?
Aullen's face is in the book. The book is basically covering his face, and he's just not saying anything.
Makar has his head like just swiveled around. Like, I can't believe that guy got out of here so fast. He was straight down that way. Mrs. Librarian, who doesn't have a name.
Yeah, Aullen will point that direction. Yeah, I think he went that way.
She squints at the two of you. Well, if he comes back, there's gonna be consequences. And she walks back to her desk to like go back about her librarian things.
Aullen and Makar look at each other, and of course they hold in their laughter. They can barely hold it in. And at the very end of this memory, Aullen recalls Makar grabbing something out of his pocket, being like, I can't wait to show you this. And Aullen's like, what? Like, what do you mean? It's like, I made this. It took a long time, but I made this. And Makar pulls out that same toy figure that and he winds it up. It's like a more rough version of it. Like he hasn't perfected the design yet. He winds it up and it starts kind of, mechanically walking its little way towards Aullen, and it kind of like trips over itself, but as it falls over, a little piece of candy falls out of it. And it's like, I haven't figured it out yet, but I think and Aullen's like, that's amazing. That's so cool, Makar. And as that memory kind of fades out, Aullen continues working on his project, and you can kind of see the mechanical legs of a figure kind of take form on his desk as he keeps working.
Aullen, as you're working on this and you put some of the next pieces together, you hear some footsteps in the hallway. It seems someone else has returned to the castle. Zothkug, on your way back from the doctor's house, you said you were going back to the castle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've just returned, but on your way, you had to walk past the hanging body of Alex Greenvale, still on display for the customary 3 days after a hanging before it's taken down and buried. And so on your way to the castle, you're winding through the pathways and things, you're enjoying the sunny day, and then almost like unexpectedly out of nowhere, you're just faced with this like a glaring reminder of what your adventure has been and what it's led to. And you're kind of taking that with you as you wander back to the rooms.
Zoth will take a moment at the scene of the hanging and just pause and reflect, thinking the cost of this adventure, taking this many lives. It's definitely not easy. Even though we're on the right path and doing what we think is best, there are still people losing their lives over this, and some of them probably just don't even have a choice in the matter. It's just where they happen to work at the time. And so saunter back to the castle, sort of a little less happy-go-lucky and more reflective on the darker side of adventuring and being on this epic quest that we are on.
As you head back into the castle and past the hallway where Aullen, you can see just like a glimpse through his door. Aullen's hunched over his desk. He's got some of his tools out, but you can't quite see what he's doing. On the other side of town, Fox has just stepped into a bustling stall at Mama Selena's baked goods, and you can the smell is almost overpowering in Mama Selena's baked goods shop. And you see a whole spread of any pastry you can think of, they've got it. You know, any baked good you can dream up, they've already got some. And it all looks like fresh and warm, and, you know, like the turnover is fast enough that everything you're seeing it's basically just made. If this were a Krispy Kreme, the hot, like, light would be on all the time. And you make your way to the front, and you see a gnome with silver hair, probably middle-aged, and she says to you, "What can I get for you, honey?"
All right, you gotta hit me with 2 of those at least, and is that got meat in it?
Well, it can.
All right, I will. If you got ones with meat in it for that one, I want 2 of these, and can I get one of those?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want that one back there as well. I don't know what that is, but I want it.
Let me get you one of the larger bags. She fluffs out a large paper bag and begins putting in the pastries you're ordering.
I just like grab one out of the bag and like I'm like, okay, can I that one too? Can I get one to replace this one?
She's just continuing to fill the bag, now holding it away from the counter so that you can't reach in and take more of them.
Oh, this is really good. You got you got like a drink to go with this? Or?
Yeah, we got some drinks. What kind of drink you want?
You got like some lemon juice with water, like a little, and with some sugar. You like this lemon juice thing?
Yeah.
You got that?
We just call it lemonade.
Oh.
She
I might have to remember
pours
that.
you a mug of lemonade. She says, "All right, all together, that'll be 10 standard Wingle digits." And she sets down the gigantic paper sack that you filled with baked goods and your, large mug of lemonade on the table.
Fox thought for a moment, was like, how could I get away with this? I forgot my wallet outside. Do I have counterfeit coins on me? And he just sighs and he's like, all right, here you go. Hands over 10 standards.
He actually pays, is what you're saying? Okay.
He actually pays,
She
yeah.
says, "Pleasure doing business with you." And she tucks them away in a little coin purse.
And I'm just going to heft the bag and just, after I'd already consumed the one before I even paid, I'm just going to start eating another one. And I'll start walking for a nice place to sit on a hill somewhere, or I'm looking for some fields, perhaps.
As you're on the way out the door, you feel the bag get jostled a little bit, but you're not really sure why.
Can I roll a...
You open the bag and you find more pastries in it than you remember.
Oh.
What? I'm gonna look around.
It's the pastry.
Yeah, you look
fairy.
around and you don't see anything. After a little bit of observing, you actually see one more pastry, seemingly of its own accord, just sort of float over and worm its way into the bag.
Kelnor. Maybe I should put some more stock in, yeah?
Always put more stock in Kello.
I'm just
Kelmo
gonna
to the moon.
I'm just not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth, and I'm gonna walk away with the pastries.
You step outside with your bag of pastries just in time to see 3 members of the town watch run by you going, I think they went that way. Why did they steal only the sour ones? And they like rush past you in another direction.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, just like.
Like loudly slurping
Walk
on
the
your
other
lemonade.
way.
You turn the other way and begin heading down the breezeway and the market area. We cut back to Jeb, who's now headed up towards the castle. Jeb, you arrive at the castle just as Fox does, carrying a large paper bag full of something or other, with his hands covered in sugar and like holding a mug in one hand.
Hey, pup. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's,
Hey, you wanna
I didn't know they made bags as big as me. What is?
you want a pastry?
I mean, normally I would say no, but I feel like your muscles are gonna give out if I don't help lighten the load. So I mean, yeah, what you got?
Please take a pastry.
He climbs up and like reaches into the top and pulls something out. Oh yeah! Oh wow! They got the ones with the belly berries in them. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. No, they got all sorts. I mean, whew. Sorry, I gotta breathe.
I had a cousin who was allergic to belly berries.
Are you allergic to belly berries?
No, I've had them before, but it's the funniest thing. We'd sneak them to him sometimes. His snout would get as thick as a cucumber, just like. It's pretty great.
Oh, that reminds me of
Like
Willow's friend.
he couldn't breathe out of his nose. Like he would just be, "Hey, my guys, please stop doing that to me." We used to do it all the time. It's great.
Yo, we used to do the same thing to Willow's cousin.
Oh yeah.
You don't understand. She was allergic, right, to pink coral. We don't know why. So
Dude.
we used to rub that all over our hands.
I
and
was
be
gonna
like-
say, do you eat coral? That's no. Oh, okay.
But yeah, we used to give her high fives and then like run away. And she would have hands like the size of like giant fists.
Sea cucumbers, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Good old genetic disabilities. Yeah. What are you gonna do? Classic.
Yeah, right. Yeah, classic.
And he reaches in and grabs another one.
You know, I think I taught some kids some good lessons today, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You know, I taught them the importance of, respecting others and
That's always important.
not judging people by how they look,
That's another good one.
and how to steal sweets from a candy store.
I see you led by example, and he points to your bag.
Oh no, actually, I paid for these fairly and squarely.
Look at you.
But actually, though,
Seem to be you look. I don't know. You look a little taller today. I mean, a little taller than normal.
yeah, no, it's,
I know you kind of shift sometime, but
I'm standing a little straighter. Just feels a little less.
yeah.
A little less. Speaking of which,
What's that?
dude, this is the perfect time. Do you think sometime before we head out, I can maybe work with you a little bit on figuring out, like, remember that time I did something with magic?
Oh yeah, I was like that one time I did something. I was like, there's a lot of times, but yeah, it was like where you just like randomly jumped on top of the cipher truck and just started playing on that horn. Yeah, that was pretty rad.
Yeah,
and then like the fire thing where I was like, please don't burn my fur. And you were like, I'll try, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I think it's probably best if I figure out what I'm doing.
Sure. Yeah.
And you seem what you know you're doing, so.
And he finishes the pastry and he grabs another one. That's a good one.
We cut to Aullen, who's sitting with his tools and his workbench, and he's working on his little figure. It's now maybe got like its belt and some of its torso are kind of attached. Aullen, as you're working and maybe humming that song to yourself, you look up, and in the glinted reflection on the glass of your window, For just a second, you see Makar raising the rod like he's about to fight you. And you like flinch and blink and it's gone again.
Aullen is going to keep humming the tune and begin another part of the process where he's actually going to try to use his artificer magic on what he's building. He is going to attempt to use to basically infuse the tune that he's been humming into the object so that it like continuously emits it, kind of like a little music box. You know, he's been using his tools and stuff to kind of tinker with this and get all the pieces put together and stuff, but then as he starts to kind of center his mind and try to access, you know, the use of magic that he uses to do these sorts of artificer things, he begins trying to reach back for that memory of Makar as he was, you know, the person that he knew as a child and became so close with. And he reaches back for those memories, the one of them playing hide and seek, the one of, you know, just all the times in class sharing those kind of, you know, friendly looks and you know, the times in the library, all of those things. And for a couple more moments, he has flashes of the Makar that he did not recognize. The one that he felt had just become someone that he just couldn't, like, the Makar that he knew was beyond his reach. Every time he tried to reason with him, every time he tried to communicate with him on that same level, like almost like inner child to inner child, it just felt like that inner child was just like gone. He would reach out and there was just nothing there. And he feels that pit of just like that, like that feeling of reaching out for that person and and you realize that person is gone, or at least out of your reach. And as he does that, he sees the face of Makar moments before Aullen essentially ended his life. And in that moment, however, he comes back to that memory of them together in the library and Makar showing him with like just all that wonder on his face of just this thing that he made, and he just realizes that Makar was real. Just because he wasn't able to reach him at the end, that those memories are real, that person was real, that connection was real. And as he realizes that and he hums that tune, the pieces that he were tinkering with, they begin to slowly vibrate, and that same tune begins to hum out of the metal of the gears. I rolled a 20 on my roll.
Nice.
So, and that tune begins to play back, and Aullen feels that warmth again of like knowing that connection was real and that friendship was real, and it's over now, and this is how he can remember it by.
As the little figure stands up and walks around the desk, it's still sort of a rudimentary figure where it's kind of like a looping animation almost in the way that it walks.
It's a little walk cycle, yep.
Yeah, it like strolls around and it walks into your hand and you can like hold it up and look at it. And as you're looking at it, you hear Jeb and Fox's voices as they walk down the hall, also having returned to their rooms. We cut back to Jeb and Fox.
Yeah, let's I don't know, I'm probably gonna need to look at my grandpa's book. So let's go to my room. And
Sure, yeah.
leads him in, and Jeb walks over leads Fox over to the desk that he has in the corner out in front of the balcony, or in the corner by the balcony, and that piece of paper and that quill is still sitting there.
Could you think about it, Jeb? Like, if I could figure this out, like, I could up my game for the stage, all right? Like, think about it. I could do all sorts of crazy stuff. I can do like 3-card Marley, but then put a song to it and then make things flow. Could you imagine? Like
While you're saying this stuff, he's slowly like pawing the paper off of the table and kind of like hiding it behind him. Yeah, absolutely. That's yeah. I mean, the limitless potential. You know, there's telling where it'll go. And he like walks over to his bag and puts it in it and pulls out his grandpa's journal, sits down and flips it open and here, have a seat. And he scooches over to like one half of the chair.
oh yeah, no, I'm ready. Am I gonna be able to like cast fireball?
We'll find out. Hopefully not right here, because again, fire. Keep the fire away from the fur.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
fair
this
enough.
is my moneymaker. Hey, I mean, you giggle, but nobody's gonna trust a solid pink naked molefolk. Okay. So,
I mean, you think I would actually do that to you?
I got wrinkles under this stuff. You know, ain't nobody want to see that.
Jeb.
I mean, hey, I'm just being vulnerable here, and I'm gonna flip through my book and see if there's anything on magical, musical integrations, anything with sound and vibration and harmonies and anything like that. Flipping through Grandpa's book. So I've got one here that's called Shatter. It's like it's like really loud, and it's just like ah, and then it just like breaks stuff around you. That might be kind of related, especially if you're getting used to tuning your instrument. You know.
Let me. Wait, I gotta go get my instrument. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go run to my room and grab my mini sax and run back. All right. So
Aullen, as you're holding your newly created little minifigure through that like crack open in your door, you just see Fox sprint down the hall and then sprint the other way holding a saxophone as he rushes back.
Alan will just like do the thing where he kind of like leans back in his chair and is just kind of like, and then just shrugs his shoulders.
Okay. So you're saying if I play this just right, I can like make things shatter?
So here's the thing. When casting magic, when it's, you know, some say it's a science. Grandpa seemed to think it was more like a dance. You know, you have the components, but sometimes the components are motion. Sometimes the components are noise, like a voice or a word. And it's all about visualizing where you are and what's in your surroundings, and almost like plucking the strings of a harp, pulling these threads here and there, tying them together and getting them to release in a specific way.
Release like a feather. Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
And he has some stuff in here about these threads of the weave, how they connect everything. They connect the air to the ground. They connect fire to the elemental planes. Fun fact, fire is actually the heat from the elemental plane of fire that pokes through the material plane barrier, and it kind of erupts out into this place. It's kind of neat stuff.
Oh.
But there are threads that tie people together, that tie the mind to the heart, and the heart to the body, and this is kind of like just like in a little side note on this side, but he talks about tugging on these strings to not only do like what Zoth has done, where he could like command somebody, or like what I've done, where you could hold somebody by freezing the string that connects to their body,
Right.
but sending a shot of inspiration to someone's heart.
So tug the strings, tying people's hearts to their bodies and injecting it with inspiration?
I mean, that's a really clinical explanation, and yours seemed more to be tuned to melodic and, you know, influence. Maybe it has something to do with the vibrations of the melodies and the harmonies and the notes. Maybe you could start there.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to start with fire, tell me first. I will back away, and we could do fire because you've already done it. That's the starting point, you know.
All right.
But so the two things that you've done so far, right? You've made conjured a little fire, but you've also, I remember, you solidified your bond with Aullen in his time of need, and you encouraged him and helped him and strengthened him. And that's my two observations.
Maybe I just need to start playing something.
Yeah, give it a shot. See what you haven't really cracked that thing off much since that happened, right? So let's see what you could do.
All right.
Okay. I get the idea. What were you kind of feeling through with that? Like, what was your intent? What was your will?
I kind of was just playing notes. I don't know. I guess every time I've done it, it's just been
you were
in the
on
moment.
key. That was pretty good. You were on key, but kind of close your eyes, let your eyes roll back into your head just a little. You know, kind of like that, where it's like that good sleep, where you just like, and you can feel the tug on your eyes.
Okay.
And when you're playing, see if you can feel something. Try to play with your heart and less with your mind. While he's doing this, I'm going to cast Detect Magic, and I'm going to try to sense any concentration of magic around him to see if I can help guide him.
I am at this point attempting to cast something.
What are you casting?
I am casting Prestidigitation. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, good job.
Yes. And I am trying to light a fire.
Jeb, you detect this.
I see the energy of the fire, and I step back and I'm like, whoa, okay. Keep going. You're doing good. I rush to get a candle, and I bring a candle nearby. Set it on the chair. Slow down your tempo a little bit. Just a little bit.
Okay.
You're fine. You're just same melody. All right, that's good. Now try to, like, I can see the energy kind of coalescing, but you need to tighten it and bring it together, like concentrate it. There you go. I see a little smoke.
And it erupts into a little candle flame.
I did it, Jeb. I did it. I'm gonna cast Fireball one of these days.
You're on your way, pup. You're doing fantastic.
All right, I gotta figure out other things I can do. Like, I kind of felt something there, you know, like.
Jeb reaches down into his pack, and forever ago, because Wash has been re-listening to all of our episodes and taking notes of things that he has forgotten between then and now, somewhere along the line, I purchased 2 journals. One was for copying my spell book, which I haven't been good about remembering to do. The other one, he hands to Fox.
What's this, Jeb?
So what you're gonna do is in the front, once you're really good with your hands, you know, and code and stuff like that, right? Talking birthday cake. We'll come up with a little system, you know, your own birthday cake script for writing down your tunes. Keep track of them, and find out which ones work. And when one works particularly well, you go back and you refine it a little bit. And if you needed help working out a system or something like that, I can show you a little bit of my notes. Everybody's kind of got their own. But yeah, congratulations, you're on your way.
Oh, okay. I think I can. You mind if I just start workshopping some stuff with you for the evening?
Sure. Yeah.
Great.
Hey, actually, let me show you another one.
Oh,
And he sits down next to Fox. So this is an easier one. It's a little cantrip. I'm going to cast Minor Illusion on the desk in front of it, and there's a little box, almost like a stone cube that appears. So this is an easy one. You can either do sound or you can make
what?
like a shape or something appear. And you know how we were talking about that, what was it, tele-vibing? I was kind of like, concepting some ideas. But anyway, this is kind of...
Right.
And as he's talking, the front of it lights up.
Ooh.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. That's not supposed to do that.
It's not?
Well, I mean, it's supposed to do that.
Is it going to explode?
And you see a scene play out. And it's a little fuzzy at first. You see Jeb. No hat. Wearing blue overalls. And he's walking through some grass and some woods.
Jeb, I think that's you.
You see him lay a hand on a tree. Kind of points to the tree and gives it a thumbs up. And this beaver person comes up and starts, and a couple of them start like chomping it down, and like it tips down, and Jeb's working to loading up on a cart. And Jeb's like,
Is that you, Jeb?
I don't... And then the scene changes. And you see the cart out in front of a little house.
Wow. This is really amazing. Jeb, is this real?
Yeah, I used to live there.
Wait, so this is actually your old house?
And you see this lady come out. She's got a round face and like reddish chestnut fur.
Oh no.
She's wearing a yellow sundress, and he picks her up, points to the load of wood, and he sets her down, and she waves as he takes the cart, hooks it up to the rotate, and starts to drive away. But as he does, this little girl comes running out after him. And he stops, and he's like, no. And eventually he grabs her hand and he pulls her up on the cart. It fades to black. And another scene comes up. They're in the woods. He's sitting on the front of the cart next to her, and she's kicking her feet. She's wearing these yellow overalls and a little sun hat. And a bunch of bandits come out from either side of the trees, crossbows trained on them. And Jeb looks at them, and he looks at Violet, and he pushes her head down, and he screams, "Yah!" as the rotate take off, full speed. Logs start falling off the back, crossbow bolts start flying. They eventually catch up to him, and one of them grabs him by the collar and just socks him in the face, and it goes black.
Jeb?
The next scene, The cart's gone. His merchandise is gone. His clothes are all tattered and he's all bruised up. And he sees a crossbow bolt sticking up out of his daughter.
Jeb.
And he scrambles over to her. You see him shaking her and rubbing her head, and he doesn't know what to do with his hands and the crossbow bolt. The next scene shows him and Holly, his wife, standing under a tree, a little gravestone nearby. The next scene is them pacing back and forth in the house, and you can't hear anything, but he's yelling and she's got her arms up in the air. And another scene, they look a little older, and you see her in a rocking chair in the corner knitting something, and him on the other side of their little one-room hovel with his nose in a book. And then it goes black.
Jeb, you can stop the magic, Jeb.
Behind you guys in the doorway stand Aullen and Zothka, drawn by foxes. Jeb, kind of questioning throughout the thing, so they've also seen the vast majority of this.
Zoth just runs to Jeb, picks him up, and just embraces him. Just crying with him.
Thanks, Zoth. You always knew what to do.
Alan's gonna go up and, like, I don't know, kind of put a hand on one of Jeb's exposed shoulders from Zoth's big hug, and just kind of, he isn't gonna say anything, but just gonna kind of, like, you know, put his hand there firmly and just kind of we've got you gesture.
Jeb, I never knew how heavy the weight on your shoulders was.
Yeah. I mean, how do you put that into words?
You don't. You don't, Jeb. But I'm sure I'm speaking for all of us when I say, you know, we're here for you, Jeb. You know, we've been through thick and thin, man. And at this point, if I can do anything to lighten that load for you, I would.
We all lighten each other's load.
I just wish I would have been there for her. You know, I saved a couple kids today. I was walking back to the castle. I went out for a little walk. And these two kids were running out into the road, and this horse came running by, and I was able to kind of get him out of the way. But I just really wish. I just miss them. I miss both of them so much.
Alan's gonna take the hand that he has on Jeb's shoulder and kind of give him a couple pats and say, we only really have control over our time now, and if I know anything about you from the time that I've known you, it's that you're using the time you have now to do everything you can to make things right. And I know that she would be so proud of her dad.
Jeb just starts crying.
Fox
Ugh,
doesn't know what to do.
I'm a mess, guys. Hey guys, Fox did magic. He lit a candle, and the candle's just sitting there on the desk. I'm so impressed with him. He did good, guys.
Yeah, no, I did a thing. And Fox immediately tries to latch on to that for the distraction purposes. It's like,
Yeah.
look what I could do. and pulls up the sax and plays a song.
Aullen kind of eyes Fox a little bit, kind of knows what he's trying to do, and he kind of smiles a little bit and says, well, if I remember correctly, we were planning on meeting up at the spa at sundown. Does that still sound like what we want to do?
Oh,
Yeah, man.
it's almost sundown. Do you guys know when Scalen Sun closes?
They were still open when I was there, but that was hours ago. I don't remember getting there hours, but I think you could, if you need to get there by the end of the day, I'm sure that they would be there.
If we hurry, we
We can go right now.
can make it.
Yeah. I tell you what. I will. If you guys want to go to the spa, I need to write a letter real quick. I'll go drop it off and I'll meet you there. Does that sound good? I'm not deflecting or anything. It's like I'll be fine. I mean, I've sat down and mused on this every day.
Well, man, if you want a little bit of hope and inspiration, I was able to heal the doctor's daughter, and she's able to walk.
Zoth, you're just the best. You really are the best of us.
I'd be nothing without you guys.
Now you be better.
Say that now, Jeb.
Well, I'm just being silly right now.
I'd be at home wasting away, not out here doing what I can, doing what good I can.
I think we've all learned a little something from each of us. Fox looks at everybody and gives Jeb that knowing look, and I've definitely learned a lot.
Me too.
Same.
All right. Well, hey, I need to write this
yeah.
letter. I want to get this thing out today.
All right. We'll save you a spot.
Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, let's go, everybody. Round up. And Fox just walks out.
Zoth will quickly follow.
Yeah, and Aullen will follow too.
The three of you head straight for the spa. It is now golden hour outside, like evening golden hour. It's a perfect summer's evening where it's like warm, but there's also like a gentle breeze because there's a constant breeze on the main thoroughfare of the royal holdings blowing from the cathedral towards the castle. And so there's that nice refreshing breeze, and you just are strolling along, and the spa is actually in the Holy District. So you head down that way, and the spa is actually tended by Kelnor's followers. So it's like its own little temple of Kelnor is this spa, this center of hospitality. And as you head down there, Jeb sits down to begin writing his note.
So Jeb pulls this piece of paper that's been sitting on his desk that he's been staring at for a while, and at the top of it, it says, "Dearest Holly, I hope this letter finds you well and in good health. I know that it's been years since I left you, and you have every right to hate me. But I want you to know that I miss you. When I left, I was in a bad place. I hated myself for who I was and what I'd allowed to happen. And I've since found friends who have helped me work through my problems and better myself, though they probably don't even realize just how much. First, there's Aullen, the strong and the wise. He's been a bedrock to me, reliable and level, constantly reminding me that proceeding orderly produces good, reliable outcomes. And though it's necessary to sometimes brave the shaky ground, eventually you need to come home to solid ground. Then there's Zothkug, the heart and the soul. He's reminded me many times that pain only causes more pain. Forgiveness and compassion are what breaks the cycle and cures wounds. And if you find that you have nothing in common with someone, well, at least that's a vibe. And last, there's Fox, the spirit of youth. I see in him the infinite potential that I saw in Violet. If he took courage and put his mind to it, he could change the world. He gave me the greatest gift of all. The chance to imagine what it'd be like to still be a father. They've been closer to me than family, and have helped me realize something, that the bonds, the threads that tie our hearts together is what matters in life more than anything. I betrayed my bond with you, believing that I was sparing you pain, but in truth, I was a coward. I'm sorry, Ollie. Truly, from the depths of my heart. If you want nothing to do with me anymore, I understand. But just know, I haven't forgotten the Fireflies. And I'm just as willing to fight for you now as I was then. Yours deeply, Jebediah Cheddar Peppermint.
On the other side of town, the three aforementioned adventuring companions finish their stroll down the boulevard and make a turn towards the spa. It is a pleasantly warm-colored building, especially with the golden light reflecting off the brick. And there are a number of excited priests who meet you at the door and are very welcoming and hostly and sort of bring you all in. And the first of them says, well, the first step of any spa visit is to have a drink. So why don't you all come over here and let's get you all some nice drinks for your stay here at the spa. And Jake is gonna go and prepare a drink actually that we're going to use to begin to kick off the spa vibes here.
This one's called Tonal Whiplash. So it's called Healing Surge.
That's fortuitous.
I'll go grab it and I'll bring it back. It's called Healing Surge.
I was gonna say.
I was trying to figure out where it would be most inappropriate to put this because I was like, well, we could do it right after you've all watched this horrifying moment in Jeb's history, and then Alan's like, you guys want a drink? I could go for a drink. Like,
Man,
Wash.
yeah, dude, wow.
Been sitting on that for a little while.
Bruh, that touched me, bruh. Like, you got me crying.
I knew it was gonna happen, and I knew I was expecting this, and I'm still overwhelmed.
Oh my. I'm like drenched in sweat and tears.
Any blood?
That's okay.
Maybe.
And you definitely touched something personal over here. I can tell you that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt was holding it together as best he could during the TV thing, and then you started writing the letter, and I saw the moment where Matt lost it in the middle of the letter and like had to like mute his mic and like hide his face.
Oh,
That was great.
tore me up.
After a refreshing but perhaps not for everyone drink called the Healing Surge at the spa, Jeb arrives, having dropped off his letter with Scale and Sons, and joins you in the spa. I would like each of you to describe one like nourishing activity that you all get to do while you're in the spa. And we'll start with Trevor, and then you can throw to the next person, and we'll just go like that, like popcorn.
Okay. Zothkug will do like a full mud bath. So they have different sizes to account for the different races. So they have like a really large tub, and then ranging all the way down to like small for the small folk. So he gets in the slightly larger than average one. He just all the way in full mud, very not coarse. What's the word? Gritty, maybe?
I think coarse. If you're going for gritty, exfoliating.
That's the good word for it. And the attendants bring over the cucumbers, and he puts them on his eyes. He just lays back and sort of just lays in the moment, feeling the cold mud on his skin, the cucumbers on his eyes, and reflecting on the events of today and how he can continue to do good in the future. Fox.
All right. Well, Fox, you know what? He gets stretched and he's like, you know what? I could really. Spot I can't get. You guys got a massage person or something? And they drag him off to the side. They're like, we're a spa. Of course we do. And it's a bunch of tables of varying sizes, right? Most of them being about only 4 foot in length. But, you know, over in the corner, you got your variety. And just they have one bard in the background playing on a harp while a burly but very gentle dwarf comes up and is like, all right, I'm gonna need you to relax, and starts working the knots out. And it's a very calming atmosphere, and it's just a good vibe, you know?
Yeah, those priests of Kelnor, they know their vibes.
And you know, I'm pretty sure Jake Aullen found something interesting too.
Yeah, so Alan comes in, and the first thing he does when he enters the spa, obviously, is take off his fur boots. And as he takes them off, they smell pretty ripe. And he realized, you know, he's heard of this thing. Is it a pedicure, perhaps? He's heard of this thing that he's never tried before, but he realizes his feet have not gotten any attention in the way of care really at all his entire life, and so he asks one of the people that comes up and kind of is like there to be like, what can we do for you? He kind of is like, I would like to try a pedicure, and the person is just right this way. And so he gets a little foot massage and gets his toenails clipped, and you know, all those little things, gets his calluses filed a little bit, and he's feeling great. It was great. In fact, I'm sure Jeb had a very interesting experience at the spa as well, a very refreshing one.
Oh, absolutely. As he walks down the hallway, coming in a little afterwards, he sees this dwarf just like elbow dropping on the back of Fox, and you know, just like really getting in there. He sees Aullen relax back with his big feet up, just like hair flowing down, completely relaxed.
Probably sipping on another healing surge.
Yeah, another healing surge. He walks by and he sees just Zot's nose and a couple cucumbers poking up out of the mud bath. Jeb goes for the full body shampoo.
Oh yeah.
Just lathered from head to toe. He looks like a snowman. They take like one of those little round brushes and they're just like circle scrubbing everywhere. They get like his toe beans. They trim his claws up a little bit, but his fur looks like $1 million. They do like the hot oil treatment on the fur afterwards and kind of get that natural sheen back.
Nice.
Yeah.
His hair's like even a little extra floofy for a little while
just
afterwards,
a little bit.
you know? So you all have this this lovely adventure at the spa. You come out of it feeling so refreshed. You're walking together down the boulevard back towards the castle. You feel lighter than you have in ages, especially after the almost like cathartic emotional experience of your day for the various members of the team here. And as you walk back to the castle, you really start to feel internally like, you know, your experience up until now is starting to kind of crystallize into, you know, what comes next. And you begin to think about the avatar that you're planning to go and save next. You know, Elaine will be delivering your repaired cipher truck tomorrow. And so tomorrow morning you'll be setting out to go and try and rescue an avatar from the Umbral Sea. And you begin kind of thinking about all your next steps. And as each of you makes your way back to your rooms to get some rest, some uninterrupted, well-protected rest, you just start to You feel as though you are better equipped for this next adventure than you've been in the past, and you do in fact level up between now and the
You
next
feel
session.
as though if you were to mark your experience generally in stages, perhaps levels, you would have gained
That's true.
one.
That's exactly right. That's how you feel. And as each of you lays down in your comfortable bed in your lavish guest rooms for the final night in Udril, alone with your thoughts, Jeb turns out the light, shuts the revolving curtain around his bed. Fox, kind of curls up in his room. Aullen brushes his teeth with his little mechanized guy does it for him, so it's kind of automated. Zothkug sits upright on his bed, not ready to go to sleep yet, and instead reaches into the closet and begins taking the cloth wrappings off of a dragon's head scepter. And on that note, tonight's Dungeons & Dragons session comes to a close.